Hello, YouTubers. My name is Dennis. Uh, I'm coming to you from my 34-foot um, Winnebago. I did a video on this thing about 3 years ago when I first bought it, and I said then that I knew nothing about RVs, nothing. You know, I've been a boater for 47 years, and I decided let me try RVing. So I'm going to read to you some things I want to talk about. So if you see me looking down, I'm not, you know, because I can't remember everything, so I'm just gonna read. So I'm gonna be looking down a lot and looking back at the camera. So just bear with me. I'm just gonna give you my spiel on it. Okay, this is my '96 Winnebago. It's a 34-foot Grand Vectra with the 454 gas engine. I bought it 3 years ago. Like I said, I knew nothing about RVing. When I started thinking about RVing, a friend of mine, he's a bus mechanic, and he drove these Greyhound and these big buses, and he was telling me that Um, get the diesel pusher with the tag wheels. That's the way to go. Have a nice ride, and he knows all about buses. So I was going on what he was saying, and I looked around for 42, 45 foot uh, tag wheel diesel pushers. He was telling me he should stay in 2000, 2005 year range. Uh, they had decent miles, and you get a decent buy on it. Well, I looked at those. They were running anywhere from 75, $100,000. Uh, I thought it was a good price, decent price, but it's a bit out of my price range. But I continued to look anyway. And then somewhere along the line, a friend of mine, good friend of mine, uh, told me about this Winnebago that I'm in now. It's a 1996 Winnebago, and the couple wanted, I think, $13,000 for it. Um, I go, what the hell? I mean, go take a look at it. Especially at that price. And I wasn't sure then if I was gonna like RVing uh, or what. So I figured I'd rather spend $13,000 than 70, 80, 90, $100,000 on something in the later on down the road that wasn't gonna be my thing. So I went over, took a look at it. Not knowing much about RVs, it looked okay to me. It was big. Uh, the people I was buying it from, they didn't know much about RVs either. I think they had it for about 3 years, and they'd only gone camping about, I think, 2 times, 3 times. He knew nothing, nothing. So things that I could ask or knew to ask, the things that I did ask, he couldn't tell me. He couldn't give me an answer. So we drove it. We drove okay. We had to charge the battery up to get it started because he hadn't driven it in a year. Um, Drove okay to me. As far as I know, I had never driven anything this big before. So it was a challenge. Uh, so I offered him 11. We settled for 12, so I got it for $12,000. Um, since I've had it, I was driving around. Get used to driving on the highway. I drove it around the city to get used to being in the city. And I drove it every chance I got, just to get the feel of it. The more I drove it, the more comfortable I got. Um, so that's what I got. I got this '96 um, Winnebago, 34-footer, gas engine. Um, it's got now 21,700 miles on it. I've had it for 3 years. I've gone camping. I've gone to the beach. I've gone to RV camps. And the more I drive it, the more I feel comfortable with it. Now, like I said earlier, I knew nothing about RVs. I knew nothing about campers. I knew nothing. I was a boater for 47 years. I've had 6 boats, anywhere from 16-footer to a 34-footer. I've been up and down the Potomac River, the Chesapeake Bay, parts of the Atlantic, uh, I've been around the waters for 47 years, so I was getting tired of it. Uh, and the expense of boating is just climbing and climbing and climbing. The boat that I had twin engines, burned a lot of gas. I mean, that boat would burn 36 gallons an hour, and it would run maybe 20 miles an hour. So you do the math. That's a lot of money, a lot of money. And I had a lot of things I had to deal with. The weather, rain. Wintertime, you had to winterize it, so you couldn't use it at all. Slip fees when you go somewhere, they charge you $2 a foot per night. So, 2 times 34, you look at that, then you have to pay for electric. It was just becoming not cost effective that I wanted to do. So that's why I started looking at RVs. So here we go. This is a Class A, like I said. Now, after I bought this, I started learning more about RVs. I'm on TV, even right now today. That's all I watch is YouTube. RV living, van living, RV life, RV travels. I've learned that there's buku RVs out there. You got Class A's, which is what this is. For those who don't know, Class A is the RVs that look like a bus. They got them anywhere from, 28 footers to 45, 46 footers. But they look like the bus. Then you got the Class B. Those are the ones that look like a van. You got the Sprinters or small vans, large vans, but they are called Class Bs. Then you got the Class C. They look like a truck, a moving van. And they could be anywhere from a 23-footer to a 50-footer. You got the Super B, Super Cs. That's just as big as a Class A. And they could be, $1 million rigs too. Then you've got the camper type, ones that you pull on the back of your car, back of a pickup truck. Then you've got the fifth wheel. They look like the camper type, only they have a gooseneck on it that will sit in the back of your pickup truck. Those are larger RVs, so you need a diesel truck or big engine gas truck to pull those. Then you got the pop-up tents. That's collapsible. Those are cute. It's a little bit of work. And when you get to your campsites or wherever you're going, you have to crank it up. And they've got them now with air conditioners, kitchens, sinks, toilets. And, they're quite comfortable. Then you have now, we go to RV shows, and they got the little mini RVs. And those are so cute. So cute. They can be, 10, 11 feet, 13, 16 feet long. Sleep 4, air conditioned, little generators. And, they're cute, but you can pull those for a small car. I think they could become quite popular as time go by. And then you got tents. So there's so much out there now for you to think about if you want to go RVing. There's a lot. Then once you decide on what type you want, now you got to decide on whether you want a new one or a used one. It's a lot to think about. Well, I chose used because, first of all, the cost. You buy a brand new one, $100,000, $200,000, you're going to lose 30% on the average. The minute you drive off the lot, gone right down the drain. It's just gone. And if you don't like it later on, you're stuck with trying to get rid of it. But trust me, you're going to lose a lot of money when you buy a new one and you don't like it. And some people may say, I don't want to be buying nobody else's problems. Well, new or used, you could have problems. You got a $15,000, $20,000, $50,000, $60,000 pound vehicle that you're towing down the road. And these roads out here not that great. You got potholes, you got these expansion bumps, you got railroad tracks, you got construction. There's a lot out here these things are bumping up and down the roads on. So you got all these vehicles. You can have things that are bouncing around, breaking loose. You know, and they make an RV. It's not like they make a car. They go through the assembly line and things are tight and inspected. They make an RV. You know, they make them. It looks good. They put them out on the lot, and that's it. It's yours. And things will break and come loose as time go by. So that's why I bought a used one. And, you know, sure it may be somebody else's problem, but after driving for a while, things that come apart, they get fixed. And I thought it was a better deal for the money, so that's why I ended up with this used one. I'm going to tell you some of the costs that's involved since I've had it. Let me look on my sheet here. Bottom line, when I got this thing, the generator didn't work. And the guy I bought it from, he said, well, the generator don't work, I don't know why. I figured, okay, I'm halfway mechanically inclined, I can figure it out. I messed around with the generator, it ended up being the fuel pump, I got it to run. But once I got it to run, it wasn't putting out electricity. Oh, now what? So, you know, I went online and I started looking, checking, looking at ideas and looking for remedies. Come find out the brushes were worn, so I replaced the brushes. It halfway worked. It was bogged down when I turned the AC on, and I looked, and they call it the slip rings, which is the armature where the brushes rub on, were coated with something. It just wasn't making a good contact. Anyhow, after messing around for about a week or two, I got the generator to work right. Works perfectly now. Then I started driving it. What else? The heater, because it was in the fall when I bought it. The heat would work sometimes it didn't work. So, you know, I went online and checked some things, and come find out it needed a limit switch. That was $19, so that was no big thing. This thing has leveler springs, so you park on a hill or leave it one way or another. You know, you put down the levelers. Well, one of the springs broke. Each leveler has 2 springs. So I figured it's old, so I ordered a whole new set of springs for all the wheels, so $80. I only replaced the springs from one leveler. That was the one that broke, and the rest of them I replaced it as it breaks. And the bathroom vent, all the blades were broken. I think there's one blade left. And the cover that opens and closes, it was a manual cover. It was electric cover, but that was cracked. And rain and snow was coming in. So I replaced the whole assembly, new cover, new blade, new motor, everything. It was $130. I did that myself. Climbed on the roof, and I didn't know what I was doing until I got up there. It's not hard to figure it out. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. This motorhome has the remote key, you know, to unlock the doors. Somebody had broken into my car and stole some keys, and the keys to the RV. And the RV key had Winnebago written on the key fob. I said, oh no. So I went on and ordered a new set of keys with the new fob. And the new fob came with a new remote control module. That was $160. It wasn't that difficult to replace. I think 2 screws and a plug, and that was it. Took care of that. The dash radio, it was the original Sony AM FM cassette radio, and of course cassettes are gone, if not on the way out. So, you know, Best Buy, $130, $140. We got a new radio, AM, FM, XM, Bluetooth radio.